we don't want to keep it in a documentary form, that would also become an artifact which would have a record, but it's better to have it in the form of a document. So project chart is the first document ideally issued by the project investor or the sponsor, and it authorizes the existence of this project and the project manager in the organization for the duration of that project, and it gives the project manager with the necessary authority and you know, the necessary go ahead to apply the organization resources to the project activities. So project charter, due to its importance in the project initiation phase, it has further content actually. Like I said earlier, it is a detailed document, and it may take a while to finalize this document. So you may be wondering that because we just had a conversation, Ali and I had a conversation that like in the theory, it should be issued by the sponsor, but practically or professionally, project manager himself usually writes it. So how come this is the case that a person who is going to get authorized for a project with this document is going to write it by himself? You know, anything is possible in the practical world. So a project manager, even when he's not formally announced in the organization for as a project manager on the project, he might have worked on that project in the pre-sales activities, in the business case related activities, in the charter creation, in the maybe in the pre-sales demos, or maybe, you know, the different level of discussions that we might have with our customer before finalizing the lead. This happens. Maybe you maybe you have got a chance to work at that level with the project manager. Maybe you don't so far have got a chance to work at that level. That is a separate conversation. But of course, there is a huge set of activities in the pre-project capacity as well, like which is termed as pre-sales, or at times business analysis activities, at times business development activities, maybe sales related activities. So the same project manager may be involved in those activities as well. I myself have been like part of multiple projects in their pieces and pre-project activities, and this is also quite possible that person who is supposed to be working, I mean, allegedly working on as project manager on that project once the lead is finalized, he's not going to get awarded with that project. That happens as well. He probably had been in the project in the pre-sales activities, and the actual project manager after the award of project is somebody else. This may happen. It can be otherwise as well, that somebody was there in the pre-sales or pre-project activities, and some other person is going to take charge once the project is going to get into the project management level. So anything is possible in the organization. So a person who is working on a the charter, or who has been there like the pre-sales related activities and conversations and meetings and demos, and maybe like different level of field level you know, visits and all, he can't assume that he's going to be the project manager for sure. I mean, this is a management decision, and he may or may not be the person taking the charge on the project. Point being, this is the document which is going to finalize and formalize that who is going to be the lead, who is going to be the sponsor, and who is going to be some of the key members. Why I'm saying key members? Because we are just beginning the project and we are not really into the details of the project. Maybe we are aware of some of the roles in the project, but we are not aware that who is going to take charge on that in the project team or within the project. Maybe we are aware of certain stakeholders, but we are not really aware of their numbers, and we are not really aware of their details, because we have not really done the project stakeholder engagement activity so far, because we have just started for the obvious reasons. So everything is very high level at this point. And of course, the role of the project manager and the role of the sponsor is not going to be high level. That should be ideally streamlined, because these are the two main stakeholders who should have their roles and responsibilities uh, clearly identified and clearly, uh, clearly, uh, uh, you know, aligned as well with each other, because at times they are doing overlapping work, and at times the roles and responsibilities may get shuffled with each other, which may be a little disturbing for them and for the team. So it is better to declare it. Yes, Mubashir, please go ahead.
In a project I worked on previously, it was a turnkey project, so basically construction mostly. I didn't explicitly see a project charter. The only document I saw that was related was the EPC contract itself, and it had pretty much the same stuff that is mentioned in the bullet points you have provided. So is it always necessary that the charter be a separate document, or can it also be part of a, let's say, agreement or contract?
Agreement or contract? No, agreement or contract would probably not have a charter, because agreement is a very different level of document. So it's not recommended to have charter with agreement. But in the practical world, any setting can be established which works for the stakeholders and for the ultimate senior management. However, whatever we are discussing in the class is the recommended practices by PMI. Um, Maybe in your project you have not seen that happening ever, or maybe you have different. You have seen all of this stated in a very different document, maybe with a different name as well, and this is quite a possibility. We have already talked about it. However, agreement is a document where the need is materialized, and yes, in a sense, you can say that let's document everything in the agreement. For instance, the role and responsibilities of the key members, and the high level scope of work and everything in there. And let's not create a charter, and let's refer the agreement itself whenever we need to refer something for the high level understanding. So that yes, in that case, it may make a little sense. However, agreement would have a lot of other stuff that probably charter could not have, or maybe agreement can be a little more extensive for someone to absorb. And on the top of it, agreement is not accessible to everyone in that. Charter is ideally available to everyone in that. Should be available to everyone in the team and at a stakeholder level, because agreement may have some very specific information about some terms and conditions, some confidentiality, budgetary information. So maybe you can't share that with everyone. Agreement is a very sensitive document.
Yep. So practically, we had the redacted agreement, the redacted contract note, all of it. So whenever we needed to reference any part relevant to a meeting or something, we would basically just have that redacted contract document, not the whole, just the parts related to deliverables or high level.
Yes, so somehow you comprehend it in a way that you get a minimal version of that agreement, and you share that with your necessary team and stakeholders. So, I mean, one way or the other, you are making a charter maybe without saying it.
Understood.
So, like I said, the name of the document in your organization may be very different. Maybe it's not even a separate document. But if one way or the other, this level of conversation is happening, then you are doing the right work. But PMI suggests to have a certain level of documentation then for many reasons, because this document is available, or should be ideally available to everyone who is a stakeholder in the project, direct, indirect, or the stakeholder. Ideally, he should have the access to this document. And ideally, he should be aware of the project objectives, why this project is undertaken, how this is helping the organizational broader vision and goals, and at a more project management level, it would have all of this. So we have to talk about it. This part, it would have all of it. So you can see that everything high level requirements, high level scope, high level risk, high level milestone schedules, payment schedules, and payment terms and conditions, and stakeholders and requirements, and maybe high level dependencies, constraints, and like everything that you know about the project, which is going to be definitely high level because you have never gone into the detailed planning of the project so far. You are going to get into that after the initiation phase. So whatever you know about the project is going to be an input to many other processes going forward. And for your information, till that time, you have not gone into the project planning phase. For predictive, the detailed project planning phase, which we have not even started. We are going to get started with that next week. And for agile, the sprint level conversation or the release level conversation, till the time you have not really gone into that, you need to have a reference point based on which the project is going to be referred, and project is going to be evaluated at times, right? Point being, the project charter and these high level details should be input to the detailed level planning. And if you go to PMBOK, for instance, PMBOK 6th edition, I'm not really sure about 7th because I'm not a fan of 7th edition. I like 6th edition more, and I find it more relevant to the exam and ECU as well. So if you go to the 6th edition and you check multiple processes, any planning process, scope process, or resource process, or schedule process, you would see that charter is a definite input to that process. Why? Because some of the aspects of the planning for those areas is going to be taken as input from the charter for the detailed planning. You can't really specialize in something until you don't have a general idea about it. Right? This is a journal. So that's the same thing over here. The project charter would give you a very high level, broad understanding about whatever is known till that point. And of course, you would have your chances to drill that down when you move along in the project. So charter is a reference point, a definite input, and a definite document to refer to for project success measurement via these success criteria, and declaring that are we ready to close the project. How do you think the project moves to the closing stage or the closure phase of in the life cycle? Of course, there should be some criteria based on which is the exit criteria, that now we are ready to exit from the project or to depart from the project. So the different criteria based on which you know that now the closure is due, or the different criteria based on which you would declare the project a success, maybe the revenue, the marketability, whatsoever you have defined as a project success, based on which we will not say that since we have completed the project work, the project is a success. No, the project is not declared as success on that ground. Project is declared success based on the realization of the benefits, the expected benefits, and that may happen like right away once the project is closed. That may take like its time to get realized, and that may go in the sustainment phase. So this again is a very huge and bigger discussion that we are going to do in the business environment domain. So maybe you are not in a position to right away declare the project as success when you are closing the project, and that happens. Like that's very common in the organization, that the project is closed or a product is closed. It's in the operational support or in the maintenance or routine support, or maybe in the warranty, but project is closed. The main project for that product or that work is closed. It's very common in the practical setup. So if you are going to close it, the exit criteria is going to give you and understanding. And if your project is a success or not, that success criteria should be the measure. It can be bullet points, it can be certain KPIs, it can be certain numbers, stats that this much should have been achieved to declare this endeavor